so we're now done blending out the concealer. Do our eyebrows next because I still want to use this concealer to carve them out. I don't want to set my face and then use this cream over the powder. A lot of what your eyebrow looks like is based on your actual eyebrow shape. I like to keep my eyebrows pretty clean. Some people don't really have a tail. Some people have thinner eyebrows. Some people have thicker eyebrows. So you want to just determine how you do your brows based on how they're shaped, how much hair you have, things like that. One of the things that you're definitely going to need is this. No, this is not a caterpillar on a stick. This, my friend, is a spoolie. Now, if you don't know what a spoolie is, it looks like a bottle cleaning brush. What it's used for is to brush your eyebrows. When you brush out your eyebrows, you can brush them up, you can brush them down, however you want to brush them. I like to brush them up. There's a few ways that you can fill in your brows. You can use a brow pencil. It's just like a mechanical pencil. On the other end of this pencil, not all of them come like this. These are the bougie ones. This is the Anastasia Brow Wiz in soft brown. This one is like $20 each. But this one also comes with a spoolie on the other end. So you can brush your eyebrows out after you fill them in. Another thing you can use to fill out your brows is a brow gel, brow mascara, however you want to call it. This is in soft brown as well. It looks like a little mascara wand. What I like to do is a combination of two things. I like to fill in my brows with a pencil first and then go in with the gel. I start here at the edge. And I softly make a line along the bottom of my brow. And then I slick the pencil up so that way I can fill in the front of the brow. And it's okay if it looks crazy or overdrawn. We're definitely going to clean that in a sec. It looks like it's missing hair. That's definitely where you want to fill it in. Do you see the difference between this brow and this brow? You can also see the difference between my hair and the brow color. The brow color is definitely lighter than my hair. Not a huge deal. You just want to make sure that you try to darken the tail as much as you can. So I'm brushing this through my eyebrows backwards just to make sure that the hair really gets saturated. I used to do that when I first started doing makeup, and it's totally okay. Like I said, if this looks crazy, but you see, it definitely got thicker. It got a little darker. Now we're gonna do the other eye. I look crazy. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna take this spoolie and we're gonna brush it through our brows again. And this is going to blend all the product together. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to carve out my eyebrows. Since I haven't put any powder or anything yet, I want to make sure that this is the last wet product that I use on my face before I set it all. And what I'm doing is I'm using the edge of this doe foot applicator, create a line right under the eyebrow. And this does two things. This highlights, but it also defines your brow shape. I like to go from there. So now that we've carved out the brows, a lot of people don't do this method anymore, being that the trend is that you have more natural makeup overall. I'm always going to carve out my brows. I need to make sure that they look slick. So I'm using my sponge that I used earlier just to blend out what I just put on. And we can use this side for more precision. Now we can set the face. There's a few ways that you can do this. One way is to use a loose face powder. I've been using the Airspun for a few years now, but I'm looking at trying to get into other ones, like maybe the Laura Mercier one or maybe even the Hourglass one. Not sure just yet, but you want to make sure you have a loose powder. or a compact powder, any kind of a powder that's either translucent or it's actually your shades. Like for example, if you get the Maybelline Fit Me foundation, it has the powder. So if you wanted to just do a powder foundation in the same shade, you could. Or if you wanted to set your entire face with that same shade, then you could, and it wouldn't really change your makeup too much. So it comes with its own powder puff. You have to be really careful because directly under that is the powder, and where it comes out from, it can get a little messy. It's also really useful. Some people like to apply the powder with the powder puff, but I'm actually going to use this Dusty Rose sponge. This is from the Lori collection. Shake up the tub a little bit. Pat out any creases you have. Dip your sponge in the powder. Press. Now what we're doing here is we're setting all the concealer that we put down. Some people like to just layer it on and leave the powder there for some time so that it can bake, basically freeze the makeup in place. If you don't like to bake, you can do this method. And then I'm going to take a little bit more and make sure to set my eyelid really well as well. And that way, the eyeshadow, whatever I put on, has something smooth and flat to cling to. The way you would do it with a brush is very similar. You tap it in, and then you tap it on your skin. And then you can kind of diffuse it a bit. So you can use a translucent powder, or you can use something like this. This is the Anastasia contour kit. You don't need to buy this. You can just buy a contour kit from the drugstore. Rimmel has good stuff. Wet n Wild has good stuff as well. In this kit, it has everything you need to highlight and brighten and to contour and bronze. A big trend in makeup is to use banana powder to brighten. So let me show you what I mean. I'm just really dipping in the brush. This is the Real Techniques setting brush, by the way. Take this brush that we just tapped in and just lightly press it. And you want to press it in a triangular motion, because if you just stay here, then you're going to have that 90s moon look going on, and all that concealer work that you did stays coming through. You pat it in the same areas where you put all that concealer. Under the eye, you really tap it in. Not hard, but like you just make sure that it's covered well. And the thing with banana powder is it can sneak up on you. You may think that you're not getting it on something. Turns out you were wildin'. And I'm just gently swiping it a bit. I'm going to use some on the eye as well. I'm going to add a little bit of this peachy color to hide all of your darkness. And look at that. Look at the difference between my left side and my right side. I'm just going to even out the other side by using this banana powder as well. There we go. See how nice and bright it is? I'm just going to tap into both of them and just make sure to set everywhere else where I put that concealer. A little bit on the forehead, not too much. I'm just going to brush this through very gently. And then down the bridge of the nose, I'm going to use more banana powder than anything, so that way it can also be nice and bright. Look at that. And it just immediately brightens it up. It's crazy. Okay, and then just brush whatever is left on the smile line. The next thing that I want to talk about is contour. We're going to use the same palette. The purpose of contouring is, like with concealing, is to add dimensions to your face, to add the shadows. You can either use a powder to contour, you can use a cream, or you can use a liquid. Some people even like to use a concealer. You can use a concealer that's significantly darker than your skin tone and carve out where you want the shadows to be. Some people like to make a line. Some people like to make shapes, and they just blend it out and it works out for them. You can use a foundation. You can use eyeshadow even. Like if I had nothing else to use, I would use a little bit of this color to contour because it's a cooler tone color. Like it looks a little bit more dusty, a little bit more gray. So that's how you can tell it's a cooler tone color. Okay, so my battery just died, so I had to wait for it to charge. But what I really like to do is kind of just outline where I'm gonna put my powder contour. You don't necessarily need to do this extra step, but I'm just trying to be as thorough as possible. When you're gonna contour, you wanna look at where your ear starts and you wanna run your finger down that bone. You don't wanna go down or up. You just want to literally go in a straight line where that bone is. We really want to contour in this area and try not to bring it lower than where your eyebrow ends. That way you can work on it through there. Okay, so see, it's nice and high up. It's not down here. So already you can start to see the contour happening. We're gonna do the same thing for the other side where my finger is. Keep it up, and the left side always ends up a little bit lower than the right side. Let's try to go a little higher. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Just blend it. I used this concealer. Now remember, it's a really creamy concealer, so you can just use your sponge that you were using earlier and blend. What you have to do is just tap it in and stay in the same area where you put it. Don't try to move it up, don't try to move it down. Try to keep it here. All the other dimension that you're gonna add to your face is gonna be with the powder. You can use the concealer, you can put it here, you can put it here, you can put it under your jawline, you can use the concealer to contour completely. However, I really just wanted to use it as a guide of where I'm gonna put my powder contour because truthfully, I suck at it. You could even roll it if you really wanted to be precise. Now I know where I'm gonna put my powder. So for this, I'm actually gonna use the contour kit and I'm gonna use another flat brush that I have, but it's not as dense as the other one. So it'll work really well for getting in there. I'm gonna dip the side of the brush into the powder and tap it in, okay? Tap it in and tap it in. All right, now we blend. And we're gonna blend upward into the forehead. Now, all I'm doing with the contour powder is literally just spreading it out, right? And the best way to do that is to make sure that you have the lightest touch possible. So I'm just using the density of the brush to really help push the dust particles where I want them to be. Now just keep tapping that in, tapping and short swipe because you don't want to drag it. You just undo all the work that you did. For the bronzer, you just dip it in. You can use the same brush and you lightly tap it in. Lightly tap it. So when it comes to doing eye makeup, there are a ton, and I really do mean a ton of different brushes and shadows, and there is just a huge variety of tools, products that you can use. When you see the brush kits and you see these small looking brushes, these are the kinds of things you use to achieve those like really precise and really finessed looks. The fluffy ones will give you the best blending power. You know, they really make the whole thing just kind of like blown out and smoked out. Flat ones are used to pack on anything, whether it is, you know, concealer for a cut crease, or to pack on some glitter eyeshadow, or to pack on any color, really. Anything that needs to be packed on, especially if it's wet, that's what you use a flat brush for. This is a smudger brush, also known as a pencil brush. You can use this to kind of, with eyeshadow, you can create a small wing. If you want to do that, you can use this to smoke out your lower lash line. Whenever you're doing an eye look, it's always a good idea to kind of add some of the shadows that you're using to your lower lash line so that the whole thing matches. So you can use this for that. You can be weird like me and use a paintbrush. Paintbrushes have been, in my experience, some of the best kinds of brushes that I've used to do makeup. This one I got from like my first job ever. It was just there and literally no one had any use for it. So I took it. took it home. So if you're watching this, sorry guys. And it used to be much more thin. It was more like this. This brush has seen better days, but it was more refined and to a point. It wasn't all like blown out like this. However, this is good for carving out the shape that I want. So if I wanted to do like a V-shaped look, this is what I would use to carve it out. If I wanted to do a rounded look, again, what I would use to carve it out. Something else that can be used for carving, this large eyeshadow brush. So if you come across something like this can be used for packing. It can slightly be used for blending, but the bristles are really dense. I don't know like how much blending you'll be able to get done with this in a fast amount of time, but maybe if you like tap around, you'll be able to. Lastly, an actual eyeliner brush. You can use a gel liner, a liquid liner, a pencil that you heated up and you dip it in the lead and you create a line. It's really just a small angled brush that you can also use this to clean up under your brows. You can use this to fill in your brows. You can use this to carve out a shape if you need to. So for the purpose of this video, I'm just gonna do something that kind of matches my shirt. We're gonna try to keep this really simple. I wanna just use 2 shadows, but we might need a third as our transition shade, and I'll show you what that is. For the transition shade, I'm gonna use, this one is called Juicy. I just wanna make sure to get the color on there. And this is the Urban Decay Naked Cherry palette. So I have hooded eyes. So that means that whatever I'm gonna do, you're not even gonna see it. All you're gonna see is whatever I put literally here. I still have some of this lid space here because I'm looking directly forward, right? So I still have some of this space here. That's where I'm gonna put my transition shade. And I'm just trying to distribute the color evenly. It's probably best if you just work on one eye first, then go to the other. Starting to carve out the shape that you want. I like a more pointed shape. In circular motions, go back and forth. Just keep in circular motions and also dragging it on the lid. Try to drag it onto the lid as much as you can. This is the color that basically we're setting down for the rest of the colors. There we go. This is the Wet n Wild P20 brush. What I really want to get are some Morphe brushes. Those are excellent. I want to bring this up. It's all about how you blend. So when I look forward, this is what it looks like right now. That's really the key to eyeshadow. Blending, blending, blending. And just sweep it on the lid. Ooh, this is really nice. I need to get some up here because of my hooded lid. And then blend this in circular motions. When you have hooded eyes, you have to be a little bit more conscientious of how you're blending, where you're putting the colors. I think I'm happy with this. I'm gonna go in brown shade, just a very, very tiny amount. Just gonna, that's it. And then tap it here and tap it here. I'm using this fluffy brush again. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Now I'm gonna use that first brush that we used with no extra product and blend. I'm going in small circular motions. Put it here. Blend it. Blend everything. Then you take the darker color and stay more on the outer part. What this does is it opens up your eyes more. So if you don't have big, beautiful eyes, do this trick. All right, so now that we're done with basically the whole face, we are just going to put in the finishing touches. Just to recap, we have gone over skincare, primer, foundation, concealer, eyebrows, contour. Now we're gonna do the last 2 things, the last 3 things, which is eyelashes, highlighting, and lipstick. Sometimes I like to take a black eyeliner and just kind of fill in the top And what that ends up doing is making your lashes look much more voluminous and more full. And then I just follow up with mascara. Honestly, for this, there's not much I can teach you about mascara, except that it's really all about trial and error. When you're applying mascara, you always want to kind of have a skinny tube as well. Bring it under your lashes, so like when you blink, it can touch it, and then blink into it. We don't necessarily have to touch this to our lash line because we already put black eyeliner on. And then you want to butterfly the ends out of it. Don't worry, I'm going to clean up this side. And then we want to get it on our lower lashes as well. Here, don't be afraid to kind of touch your skin and then come down. It looks like you're wearing eyeliner, but you're not. Something else I forgot to do, and this is one of the more important things, especially now because it's trending, is to blush. So I'm using the Nudist Society shade by Wet n Wild and a nice fluffy brush. This is literally a blush brush. And all you want to do is just smile and check. Blush comes in powder or cream. Cream blush is usually better for blending, but I always use a powder. I just got into blush recently. I wasn't really a huge blush fan. You just want to swipe a bit. So we are finally on the last two parts of what a full face consists of. Before I do the highlight, I want to do lips. So let's talk lipstick. So there are many products that you can choose from when it comes to lips. You can simply go for a lip liner. You line your lips and then you can even fill them in with a lip liner. Then you have your lipsticks. There are a few different kinds of lipsticks. So you have the original bullet lipstick. Then you have the really sticky liquid lipsticks. And lastly, I'm sure everyone knows about this, lip gloss. Lip gloss is really great to wear alone. You can wear it over different colors as long as they're, dried down first. So that way you don't mix the colors too much and you don't get the colors on your applicator. I have different kinds of lip gloss. I have this regular lip gloss. This is one that my cousin made. I'm going to say that every time I use it on video. This is by C. Marie Beauty. Get into it. Okay. A lip plumping lip gloss. Very similar to the one I just showed you. This is also made by the same company, C. Marie Beauty. And this one, it smells minty. Like there might be peppermint in it. It is supposed to plump your lips. And I'm not going to be using this one today. Although this is like my go-to. If you don't want a plumping one, you definitely have to have a signature clear one. This one has a bit of a pink hue in it because I used lipstick a long time ago and I layered this on top, so it's kind of a little bit pinky. It was completely clear when I first bought it. So always have a general clear lip gloss in your repertoire. Have to at least, because you can never go wrong. Some lip gloss, mascara, call it a day. What we're gonna do now is just apply some of this pink lip gloss. I'm sure you have encountered lip gloss at some point of your life or another. Look at how it makes a difference. This is a really pink lip gloss. If I were to use a lipstick for this look, I would definitely for sure use this Laura Mercier one, just because it is much more toned down than it appears to be. Okay, we have finally reached the penultimate step. You thought we were done, but we're not. When it comes to highlight, you can get different kinds. For example, if you're familiar with the Balm Cosmetics, they have some really bomb products, especially this shadow pot. This is called Overshadow the Sex Pots. This is an eyeshadow, but because it is so pigmented, I use it as a highlight and it is beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. This is also something that I've had for many years. This is what it looks like. I don't like opening it a lot because everything just gets everywhere, but I definitely want to show you. That is an eyeshadow. Are you kidding? That's insane. Let me just blend it. Then you can have a compact highlight, which is something like this. It's similar to like a bronzer, foundation powder. It's just a compact. And this is the Becca Vanilla Quartz. You can have something like this. This is the Wet n Wild Precious Petals highlight. I'm going to use that for this look right now. And last but not least, there's also this kind where it's like a baked highlight, where it's like a baked illuminator. This is the Laura Geller Gilded Honey. This one isn't really my color. This one is a bit darker, but you know, if you use it in the right way, you make it work. But right now, I'm gonna use this one. So I'm gonna use this highlight brush, this fan brush. You can use any brush that's small and flexible that will allow you to like really get the highlight in there. If you want to have really enhanced highlight, spray your brush. Dip it in as much as you can. Okay, dip it back in. Look at that. And what this ends up doing is basically just gives you this like glow from within, like as if your skin is just emanating all this oil. In addition to putting it here, you want to also put it everywhere you concealed. Putting it a bit up here, a bit down the bridge of the nose. You can put a dot with your finger on the tip of the nose. You put some here. If you want to get really fancy, put some on your brow bone. You can also take a small brush and put it here to really pull the whole look together. I feel like no look is complete without an inner corner highlight. And all you're doing is brushing the product right here on the tear duct on the outside. Because obviously you don't want to put it in there. You'll be crying all day. And there we go. If you want to get extra, extra fancy, you can put some on your collarbones and a bit here where your neck protrudes. Literally any high points. I also like to get my ears. And now for the final step, you're just going to take it, kind of hold it a bit somewhat far from your face and spray. Some people like to do the whole cross method. I just go around. That was it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed. I tried to be as thorough as possible. So if there's anything that you think I missed, anything that you want me to go over in more detail, please, please, please leave me a comment. Let me know what it is that you want to see. Like the video so that way I can put out more for you. And so that you don't miss, subscribe. Because why not, right? See you in the next one. And just remember, I'm proud of you and you're doing a great job. Bye. Bars. Bar God. Look like a ghost. Bitch, I'm a ghost.